Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to be jumping into this session with you. Today, we're unpacking a classic Panchatantra story, and it explores a theme that I think pretty much all of us can relate to. What exactly happens when playing games goes just a bit too far? We're going to be breaking down the tale of Chun Chun. She's this young, wildly energetic squirrel whose absolute total obsession with playing games eventually lands her in the fight of her life.
So I want you to really think about this for a second. When does playing a harmless game become a dangerous prank? It's a super fine line, isn't it? I mean, we all love a good game, a quick laugh, having a little bit of fun. But when does that fun actually cross over into something that harms the people around us? Okay, let's dive into this, because this ancient story perfectly maps out the escalating, real-world consequences of ignoring that line entirely.
To really understand our main character, Chun Chun, we first need to look at this definition of mischief. Mischief is playful misbehavior that causes annoyance or harm to others. And honestly, this hits the nail on the head for Chun Chun's primary character flaw. Her endless desire to turn literally everything into a game meant she was constantly engaging in playful misbehavior. The problem was that her games were causing serious annoyance to every single animal in the jungle. Nobody could catch a break or find even a moment of peace.
All right, moving into Section 1, the Naughty Squirrel's Games. So we have a really stark contrast in mindsets here. It's like night and day. On one side, we've got Chun Chun. Her mindset is completely wrapped up in this reckless desire to constantly play games, pull pranks, and just completely ignore any instruction she's given. But on the other side, we have her mother, Kitu. Kitu's mindset is totally grounded in a desire to live peacefully, respect their neighbors, and just follow the rules of the jungle. You can probably already see how these clashing priorities are a total recipe for disaster.
And that brings us to Section 2. A prank goes wrong.
Well, that tension finally boils over when Chun Chun's gaming mindset takes over during what was supposed to be a quiet afternoon. She spots a sleeping monkey named Farada and decides, hey, he's the perfect target for my next game. Let's look at the exact sequence of this so-called game. First, she spots Farada fast asleep on a branch. Second, she sneaks up and literally ties his tail securely to the tree branch. And third, the terrifying result. Farada wakes up, tries to jump to the next branch, and realizes he is completely trapped. Because his tail is tied, he botches the jump and is left hanging completely upside down from the tree, just screaming at the top of his lungs for someone to help him.
Yeah, so this definitely wasn't a game to Farada, it was a total nightmare. And all that screaming, it brought the ultimate authority figure right to the scene, Sher Singh, the Lion King of the jungle. And let me tell you, he was not amused. He sternly warned Kitu that because her daughter was constantly harassing all the animals with these games, he was ready to revoke their right to live in the trees entirely. A completely panicked Kitu rushed over to untie the monkey's tail, which unfortunately resulted in poor Farada plummeting straight to the ground.
Sher Singh looked right at Kitu and gave her exactly one final warning. Just one. So the really crucial takeaway here is that the stakes for Chun Chun's little games have just absolutely skyrocketed. It is no longer just about annoying the neighbors, we're talking about their very survival and their right to a home in the jungle.
Which leads us straight into Section 3, Left All Alone.
Now we hit a pivotal shift in the story, where Kitu is actually forced to leave the jungle for a few days, leaving Chun Chun highly vulnerable. Let's break down how this vulnerability plays out. Kitu has to travel outside the jungle, right? So before leaving, she begs her neighbor, Kalu the crow, to please keep an eye on her daughter. Kalu agrees, but he explicitly warns Kitu that managing such a wild, prank-loving squirrel is not something he can pull off for very long. And honestly, he hit the nail on the head. Without her mom there, Chun Chun gets bored almost instantly. She ignores Kalu completely and decides to play by her own rules. She wanders off all alone to find water, totally leaving the safe boundaries of the jungle, and before long, she is hopelessly lost in unfamiliar territory with literally no one around to even ask for directions.
And things go from bad to worse in Section 4, Attack of the Eagle.
Because here's the thing. When you're small, lost, and totally unprotected in the wild, you aren't just playing a game anymore. You are prey. Let's rapidly break down this escalating crisis. First, Kitu returns to the jungle only to find her daughter missing. Pure, utter panic sets in. Next, Kalu spots something terrifying up in the sky, a giant eagle actively circling and hunting for its next meal. Connecting the dots, Kitu is absolutely terrified that this eagle has spotted her wandering daughter. So finally, Kalu and his friend Mithu the parrot immediately fly off to investigate the danger.
And this right here brilliantly illustrates the ultimate danger of ignoring the rules.
The eagle didn't just spot Chun Chun, it swooped down in a flash and trapped the little squirrel tightly inside its incredibly sharp claws. The game was officially over. Chun Chun was literally moments away from becoming this eagle's dinner.
This kicks off Section 5, the aerial rescue.
Let's break down this crazy mid-air combat. On one side, we have our defenders, Galoo the crow and Mithu the parrot, and on the other side, the massive threat, the giant eagle. So how did two much smaller birds take on a literal apex predator? Through sheer teamwork and a totally relentless combat style. Knowing the eagle was about to eat Chun Chun, Galoo and Mithu fearlessly dive-bombed the massive bird, aggressively and repeatedly attacking it with their beaks. They fought this eagle in mid-air, striking it over and over again, doing whatever it took to force it to release its grip.
And you know what? Their brave strategy actually worked. Step 1, the relentless bird attack completely overwhelms the predator. Step 2, the stunned eagle finally opens its claws, dropping Chun Chun from way up high in the sky. But wait, a fall from that height would be fatal, right? Well, luckily, the jungle animals below had seen this whole battle unfolding, and despite all the super annoying games Chun Chun had played on them in the past, they all banded together for Step 3, quickly creating a soft, makeshift net out of leaves and grass. They caught the falling squirrel, saving her life just in the absolute nick of time.
Finally, we arrive at Section 6, learning the hard way.
The battle's over. The adrenaline fades, and we're left with this really quiet, reflective aftermath of a life-or-death situation. Safely back on the ground, Chun Chun is definitely shaken up, but she's completely unharmed. Kityu approaches her, and she doesn't do it with anger, but with the profound, overwhelming relief of a parent. She softly reminds her daughter, "See what a big trouble you got into?" This terrifying ordeal was exactly why she had been warned over and over again to stop her mischievous, boundary-pushing games. It literally took staring danger right in the face for Chun Chun to finally understand that rules and boundaries, they aren't there to ruin the fun, they are there to keep us safe.
Which brings us to our final thought for today's explainer. How do you ensure your own games don't negatively impact the people around you? Because whether it's a prank at the office, a joke played on a friend, or just pushing the limits of what's considered fun, our actions have real-world ripples. Chun Chun had to learn her lesson the hard way. Hopefully, through exploring her story today, we can learn ours a little bit easier. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and I will see you next time.